Hey everyone, welcome to this little mini masterclass on why you can't break your habits and why you can't reach your goals. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Susan Francis. I'm a leading NLP and timeline therapy breakthrough coach. So really helping women to step into their true power, own their voice, and live a life lit up and on fire. So that's what I'm super passionate about. So every Wednesday I pop in here and do a little mini masterclass. So today we're talking about why you can't change your habits and why you aren't reaching your goals. So I don't know if you're like me, you've set a lot of goals for yourself over the years, or certainly tried to make, changes to habits. So if we look at habits first, if you talk about, like, maybe you've got something you've tried to change. So if we think about habits, like, maybe you've tried to stop drinking something like coffee or Coke or some sort of alcohol, or maybe you've tried to stop smoking or nail biting, even just things like sleeping in or eating junk food. Maybe these are some of the habits that you've tried to change. And what often happens when we try and change a habit is we kind of go, right, okay, so Monday I'm going to change this habit. So what you'll start to do is, Monday will go really well. Let's say you're going to give up your 3 o'clock coffee, or you want to give up coffee, and 3 o'clock is when you really have a craving for another coffee. Just realized I kind of look a bit naked today. I do have a dress on, I promise. So what happens is, if you're trying to say give up coffee and maybe you really struggle at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it's when you grab another one. Then what happens is you consciously decide that you're going to give up coffee. So on Monday, you go through your day winning, you've given up the coffee, you're all good. By Tuesday, you're on track as well, giving it up, it's all fine. But maybe by Wednesday, you're feeling extra tired. And 3 o'clock rolls around when you normally have that coffee, and you start to go into this battle in your mind. Consciously going, nope, I'm not going to drink coffee. Nope, I'm not going to drink coffee. But there's part of you that is going, 3 o'clock, it's time for a coffee, time for a coffee. So what's happening is your mind is going into battle. So, and often what happens when we try and change habits is, a week later, it's back to where it was. Sometimes you might have more progress. Sometimes you might be able to kick a habit for longer. But what's happening is that your conscious mind and your subconscious mind are going into battle. And so just to kind of really understand this, I talk about the subconscious mind and conscious mind a lot, but it's really, really important to understand. So your conscious mind is the prefrontal cortex. It's about 10% of your mind. And that's your analytical mind. So it's where you're making decisions. But like I said, it's only about 10% of your mind. So your subconscious mind is the other 90%. It's the oldest part of our brain, reptilian part of our brain, and it's where all the automatic programs are stored. And I use subconscious and unconscious intermittently, like they mean the same thing. So hey everyone that's jumping on, Taya, Laura, Linda, welcome. If you just jumped on, we're talking about why you can't change your habits and why you're not reaching your goals. So what happens with the subconscious part of the brain? The subconscious part of the brain is running all your automatic programs. So it keeps your heart beating, keeps you breathing, keeps all your digestion, your organs going, all of those internal functions. But it also stores your core identities. So it stores your beliefs, it stores your habits, and what that means is it serves you really well because you're able to do a lot of things on autopilot. So my guess is every morning when you wake up, you have a series of rituals or routines that are on autopilot. So maybe for you get out of bed on the same side, you go to the bathroom, go to the toilet, clean your teeth. Maybe you check Facebook, make yourself a coffee. My guess is whatever you did this morning is what you did yesterday and the day before and the day before that. Generally, you're doing these things on autopilot, and that's your subconscious brain running the show. And like I said, for the most part, it serves you well. And if I'm looking down, I just got a couple of notes so I don't just go completely off track. But the thing with the subconscious that's really important to understand is your subconscious mind It's not analytical, so it doesn't know the difference between a good habit or a bad habit, or a positive thought or a negative thought. It just follows instructions, and it kind of does what it needs to. So what's happening when you're trying to change a habit is you're using the conscious part of your brain to say, I want to stop drinking coffee, I want to stop drinking coffee, I want to stop drinking coffee, or whatever that thing is. But your subconscious part of your brain has a habit that at 3 o'clock every day you drink a coffee. So it's a little bit like when you get up in the morning and you need to go to the toilet and then you clean your teeth. It's the same thing. It's just reminding you that, hey, it's 3 o'clock, it's time for that afternoon coffee. So the reason you can't change your habits is because that conscious part of your brain isn't what controls your habits. What controls your habits is the subconscious mind, and it really comes down to your identity or your belief. So, so willpower will work, I guess, for a certain amount of time. So you probably have had there might have been something in your life that you've tried to change and you've had some success. And willpower definitely works for a period of time. But it's finite. Like you can't rely on willpower indefinitely. Like there's a point at which it gets exhausting. Maybe you can really stick to something for a period of time, but what happens often is that you fall back into old habits. So what it is, it's that you're not changing that subconscious part of your brain. You're trying to make changes from that conscious part of your brain. So if we think about goals, like let's say, for example, you're someone who's maybe always really struggled with weight, and maybe you've always been overweight. You've been an overweight child, overweight in your teenage years, overweight as an adult, and let's say you're at a point where you really want to lose 20 kilos. You've set yourself a goal, I really want to lose 20 kilos. You've signed up for a gym, you've got a new eating program, and you are on a mission. You're dedicated, you're gonna do it, you're determined. And again, what happens is you can start it, you can use willpower, you can use inspiration, you can absolutely start to make some changes. You can turn up at the gym, perhaps you stick to it, maybe you get a trainer, maybe you get a buddy, perhaps you do stick really well to the eating plan. But for anyone who's tried to lose weight, what often happens is, you do achieve a certain amount of success. Hey Emma, hey Heidi, hey Shani, how are you? You do achieve a certain amount of success, but what's happening is if your internal belief is that you are overweight and it's hard for you to lose weight, your subconscious mind will always take you back there. So you might get to a point where you've lost a bit of weight and you've really stuck to your diet, you've lost a bit of weight, you're feeling good, but the minute you relax, right, the minute you take your foot off the pedal, so to speak, maybe go on a holiday, I don't know, get busy at work or with the kids or whatever, and aren't so focused on your weight loss goal with your conscious mind, what's happening is your subconscious mind goes, hang on, it's hard for me to lose weight, I'm always overweight, that's my identity, that's what I'm going to do. And that's where it takes you back to. And I'm sure there's probably some women in here that can relate. If you've ever, if you are someone that struggled with your weight, you've probably found that you go up and down. I mean, most people that diet, try and lose weight, go up and down, right? The whole yo-yo thing. And the fact is, the science of weight loss, it's not difficult. You eat less calories, you move your body more, you will lose weight, right? There are all different methods and diets or ways, eating plans, things to follow. But at the end of the day, the science of weight loss is not difficult. What is difficult is the mindset. And like I said, it's that internal belief. So if you've got this internal belief that you are overweight and that it's hard for you to lose weight, then that is the predominant subconscious belief that your mind will keep playing. And if you look at someone who is always really fit and trim, and obviously really takes care of their body, they probably don't find it much effort. I mean, not obviously they put in the effort, they probably go to the gym, but in terms of like knowing what to eat, they make those decisions easily because it's their identity. Their identity is, I am fit and healthy, I take care of my body, that's a priority. It's not a constant battle every day to say, better not eat that pizza, better not eat that chocolate. they look at food and exercise differently. So I guess the overall point is that, you know, your habits, your rituals, what you're doing every day will change when your belief and your identity change. And the same thing even, so I'm just looking at some notes, the same thing even with, like, if you think about if you are someone who's wanted to create more wealth, money, anything like that, any of these things that we try and change, if you have a fundamental belief that earning money is hard, I'm always going to struggle with money, I'm never going to have enough money, if those are your internal beliefs, then that is always what's going to show up for you no matter what you try and do. Because anything you try and do with your conscious mind will be overwritten by your subconscious programming. It's, you know, like I said, it's 90% of your mind. It's what's running, it's those internal programs. And like I said, those internal programs serve you well in so many ways. Keep you breathing, keep you alive every day, keep things moving, but they also run, you know, everything about you, like how you respond to things, like I said, how you know, your fundamental core beliefs behind everything that you do. So, you know, if you're someone who perhaps, you know, has even made some changes financially and earned a bit of money, what you'll probably find is if you've got a fundamental belief that money is hard and you're never going to be wealthy, then that's what will keep showing up for you. So money will flow out as quickly as it flows in. Whereas someone that has a mindset that they are wealthy, they will treat their money differently, they will show up differently, they will expect money to flow to them differently than you. And if you're not sure what your beliefs are, if you're not sure what your fundamental core beliefs are, take a look in the mirror. So it's the easiest way. Look at your body, look at your bank account, look at your relationships, look at your approach to life, your general happiness. All of those things are who you are. They're your identity, they are your beliefs. So if your bank account is constantly empty, that's your fundamental belief around money. If you're always struggling with your weight, that's your fundamental belief around your body. If you can never find the right guy, or always having relationships that fail in a certain way, or maybe someone always cheats on you, they are your beliefs around relationships. So whatever is showing up for you is what your core identity and beliefs are. So what we need to do to change habits or to change, reaching your goals is to change those identities and beliefs. So change them at that core level, at the subconscious level. Because once you change a fundamental belief, like just to give you a little story, a really short thing, like in my probably late 20s and early 30s, I had this belief that all men were idiots, right? Not all men were idiots, but I was single and I was out on the dating scene and I was just coming across a lot of idiots. And so I had this fundamental belief that, that perhaps there weren't any good ones in Sydney. All the good ones are taken. I'm sure there's some of you that can relate to this. And I sort of had this constant thought, this constant belief. So of course, when I was dating guys, guess who I was attracting? Guess who was showing up? And I just, I made the decision, I made a fundamental core belief shift that for me to attract the relationship I want, I had to believe that, the right person was out there for me, and that's what I was looking for. So I started telling myself a new story, and beliefs are just stories. So you can reprogram your brain, you can reprogram the subconscious mind, but it takes, focused attention of changing your story and constantly reiterating that to yourself. So a great thing to do is you can do like self-hypnosis and be consciously reprogramming yourself. So just back to that story, once I'd fundamentally shifted my belief and went, okay, there are 6 billion people on the planet, there is someone for me who's amazing, who's going to want a committed relationship. And guess what happened when I changed that belief? Within literally 2 months, that person showed up. So it's about shifting the belief, going out and meeting all these new people, and it wasn't, looking for people in different places, looking for guys in different places wasn't changing my result. Changing my behaviors wasn't changing my results. Changing my belief and my expectations and my core identity was what changed those results. So, it's like I said, if you want to make changes to, habits or goals, hey, Sophie, Olga, Karen, thanks for jumping on. If you want to make changes to those things, you have to reprogram your brain. It's the only way to do it. So everything comes from, like I said, your core identity or your beliefs, your habits, they're all stored in your subconscious. So if you're not changing them there, then no amount of conscious effort will make long-term changes. So like I said, you can do things by yourself. Self-hypnosis is a way that you can do it. I'm not going to go into all those tools now. But if you are someone that wants, that knows that you want to make changes and need some help, then that is what I love doing. So definitely reach out, is what I help women do. Karen's on here. She's had some amazing transformations. It's what I focus on is reprogramming the brain. So using tools to change the subconscious mind, and that's what, like I said, that's where the changes come from. Once you change the subconscious mind, your behaviors change naturally. If you can change that core belief that you're not, let's say we're just going to talk about weight again. If you can change that core belief that you're not, that you don't struggle with your weight, that losing weight is easy and you can be a healthy, happy weight, your behaviors will shift automatically to match that. So there'll be, there won't be that stress, that pushing of trying to change those habits. They will come more effortlessly. Certainly there's a certain amount of, just retraining yourself. But once you shift your core identity, the behaviors follow. So if anyone does want help, then by all means reach out and book in a chat with me. I think I've popped the link down here. It's what I love doing. It's what I help women do. And it's what's, helped me transform my life. We're all a work in progress. There are definitely things I'm still working on too. But rather than shifting habits and behaviors, I always start with working at the subconscious level. If something's not, working in my life, I look at, okay, let's look back at, over my life or over the last few years or whatever it is, how is that, what's the pattern that keeps recurring? And looking back at what that belief is and shifting it at that level, because it's the only way to make that change. So I hope this has been helpful. Thank you for the people that have tuned in. I'd love to hear, what habits or goals, you really want to shift. That would be awesome. Share it in the group. That would be beautiful. And I'd love to know what you think. I hope you're finding these little sessions helpful. Also, if you've got anything, really around mindset, mindset, and I guess, just conscious, subconscious, limiting beliefs, fears, blocks, all of those sorts of things. Anything you'd like help with, drop them in the comments or PM me. I'd love to, create some content in here that is useful for you. So I hope this has been helpful, and I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.